the college football playoff rankings have been released for week 13. And I did not go over this last week because I want to do it for the last two regular season game weeks, as well as the college championship week. And of course, I'll go over like the bracket, what it does look like as of right now, too. So it goes as follows: Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame, Alabama, Miami, Florida, Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, Boise State, SMU, BYU, Texas A&M, Colorado, Clemson, South Carolina, Army, Tulane, Arizona State, Iowa State, Missouri, UNLV, and Illinois. Obviously, Kansas State, Washington State, Louisville, and LSU dropped out, as you could tell. And I could just tell right now on why Missouri's even ranked. It's only there just to help the SEC teams that they lost to, give them a top 25 win. And you could make the argument of Illinois a little bit too. I get that. And yes, BYU did defeat SMU. And if you want to switch that, that's fine. Fine, but I do think BYU deserved to drop that many spots to lose that home to Kansas. And BYU's just been escaping teams barely in those games. So other than the Missouri thing, and if you really want to put BYU ahead of SMU, I would be totally fine with it because I had to head. I just know SMU just didn't make a quarterback change until a few weeks, like a week or two later or something like that. But you get the whole point. SMU's a different football team now than when they played BYU. So what does the bracket look like in all this? And I'll go like 1 through 4, who gets to buy those buys, and then 5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, 7 versus 10, 8 versus 9. And obviously, the higher ranked teams, 5 through 8, get to host a playoff game at home. So the 1 seed would be Oregon. You can't argue that. The 2 seed would be Texas. I can't argue that. Miami, Florida is at 3. Well, right now it does make sense, even though I do think SMU deserve to be, they're undefeated in the conference, but whatever. Either way, you get an ACC team right there. Then is Boise State at number 4. Yeah, they actually moved up to now being in the top 4 to have that bye. So the 5 and 12 matchup would be Ohio State and BYU. Then it's Notre Dame, Alabama for the 8-9. 6-11 would be Penn State, Georgia. Then the 10-7 matchup would be Ole Miss as a 10, Indiana as a 7. We're going to have to wait and see what happens in all this. And so basically it's showing that SMU, you're not in it right now. Obviously, if SMU would win out the regular season, and as well as win the ACC title game, they're going to be in. I do think it's a possibility that the Big 12 now might not be a top 4 seed. I really just think that might just happen. Let's just be honest. What if BYU loses this week to Arizona State? It wouldn't shock me. Then it would be like Arizona State, and if Iowa State would win out too, then there's Colorado. As long as Colorado wins out, and they do need to be careful this week with Kansas, even though this is a neutral site game. That's the only thing that's scary about that game, is that it's not a home game for Colorado, but it's not a home game for Kansas either. And Kansas is better than record shows. They beat back-to-back ranked teams. They're playing their best football right now, and they're fighting to make a bowl game. So Colorado, if you do lose this game right here, uh-oh for you and your college football playoff chances, unless you win the conference. And you do have a bad loss in Nebraska, who might not make a bowl game. So We're going to have to wait and see what they're going to do. And I just have a hunch that the Big 12 is just a one-bid league. Same thing goes for the ACC. Now, Notre Dame, if you do lose this week, you're screwed for the college football playoff. I'm just telling you right now. There's no way a 2-loss Independent's going to be in a college football playoff. It's going to be either another SEC team or Big Ten team. Then, unless they really think that Miami, Florida with 2 losses or SMU with 2 losses deserves more, but I just don't see that. And honestly, if Army wins out and then Boise State loses like one more game, if they do lose another game, forget the college football playoff. Forget about it. Of course, especially the Mountain West title game, because what if it's like Tulane, Army? That game is going to be interesting in a conference championship, no matter what. But would they get in over like UNLV if UNLV beats Boise State? We're going to have to wait and see what really happens in those conference championship games, and within like this week and following week as well, because what if a major upset happens and it creates some chaos and not just in like individual conferences, but across the board for these playoff teams that are fighting for their lives to make sure they're still in it. Because, a 3-loss team shouldn't be in it. The only way that's going to really happen is if that 3-loss team wins a conference title game. If they could get there. That's the thing. Obviously, a 3-loss, like 3 losses just in the SEC alone or Big Ten alone, yeah, I just don't see that happen. So I just wanted to go over my thoughts on the rankings, which I think direction is good in all. Maybe with the exception of Missouri. That's the only questionable thing I see. But I know why they're ranked. They're going to give the SEC teams that beat them a quality win. Instead of like, that's just an unranked win. I mean, it's just telling the truth. So anyways, if you like the content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 7 subscribers. Course ultimate goal. It's 1,000 more, so my money at this course. Like video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithms. More people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button. It's free the notification bell as well.